Paul, I'm the pastor of Livingstone's Christian Reformed Church on Florin Road, and I wanted to do a little video summing up a little bit of what we talked about in our adult Sunday school class this week. You can find the video online. Our adult Sunday school class meets at 9:30 on Sunday morning. We're currently going through the book of 1 Thessalonians, and this week we're in the section from chapter 2:17 to 3:13. And often when I do a class, people will ask me questions and things will bubble up for me. I'll have new insights. That's one of the beauties about going to an actual church and being with actual people, is that things happen. It's a live setting. So one of the things that really struck me this week was in 1 Thessalonians 3:12 and 13, Paul puts these two things side by side. He says this: May the Lord make your love increase and overflow for each other and for everyone else, just as ours does for you. May he strengthen your hearts so that you will be blameless and holy in the presence of our God and Father when our Lord Jesus comes with all his holy ones. Now what's interesting about this is that right here, Paul sets these two things up as core virtues of the Christian life. Often I think we think of love as permissiveness and blamelessness or holiness as restrictiveness. Paul doesn't see those things at all in that way. In fact, he says that the core of the Christian life, the core of living the Christian life, is in fact doing these two things at the same time. He is telling the members of the church of Thessalonica, who, if you read in Acts 17, were undergoing some persecution for some things that they weren't necessarily to blame for. Paul expects them and appreciates to see them not only growing in love for one another, but growing in love for everyone else. And that would certainly include their enemies. And in fact, if you flip and look in the book of Acts, what happens to Paul in Philippi, you see that same character. So now you have this demonstration of remarkable love, but also this demonstration of remarkable holiness and blamelessness. And Paul says we should put these things together. In fact, they're not opposite, and that kind of boggles our mind. I think C.S. Lewis gets some of this in his book, The Problem of Pain, in chapter 4. He says this: the real trouble is that kindness is a quality fatally easy to attribute to ourselves on quite inadequate grounds. Everyone feels benevolence if nothing happens to be annoying him at the moment. Thus a man easily comes to console himself for all his other vices by the conviction that his heart is in the right place and he wouldn't hurt a fly, though in fact he has never made the slightest sacrifice for a fellow creature. We think that we are kind when we are only happy. It is not so easy on the same grounds to imagine oneself temperate, chaste, or humble. And this is what Paul is getting at here, and that love is actually sacrificial. And love actually deepens when you have it for people who are your enemies, when you have it for people who don't think like you do, when you have it for people who are doing hurt not only against you but towards others in the world. That is love. But that is also blamelessness and holiness. And it's in that moment that these two things come together. So I just wanted to share that brief thought in this brief video. And if you want to see the whole class, we talk about this a little bit, not too much, but that's what we did in our adult Sunday school class. So thanks for watching.